Welcome back to the Mastering Runeterra podcast with Jay and Bay, the number one source for competitive Legends of Runeterra news and information. If you're looking for the best decks to play right now, be sure to check us out on Twitter at Master Runeterra or in our Discord. And if you want to take the next step in leveling up your game, check out our Runeterra team on Patreon, where we do weekly learning calls and one-on-one coaching. Now strap in and grab yourself some Poro snacks, because we are about to start Mastering Runeterra.
Welcome back to the Mastering Runeterra podcast with Jay and Bailey. We have a fantastic show for you today. Before we jump into everything, though, we want to thank all of our patrons over on Patreon for supporting us. Thank you so much. Without your guys' support, we literally cannot do what we do, aka make podcasts like this and our awesome website, masteringruneterra.com, and everything else that we do, some of which we'll be covering in this podcast. And we have to thank Saucy and Blevins over at Runeterra Radio. If you want more awesome Runeterra content, go check them out. Runeterra Radio, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, all the places. And while we have you, if you are listening on an Apple device or on iTunes, if you could leave us a review or a comment, it helps us a whole bunch to get the podcast out to more people so that they can enjoy it. And so we could maybe monetize this thing and make money one day. Who knows? You know, a boy can dream. All right. With that said, let's get into it. Bay, what do you say?
I never know what to say here.
Yeah, I know.
One day I'll figure it out.
You had I nailed that intro today. Nailed it.
You hit all the talking points and everything.
I crushed it. First try.
Let's do the thing.
Nice.
Talk about the Runeterra cards. Yeah.
As poetic as ever.
This is why I read all the books, so I know all the good words.
What have you been up to this last week? Give me that. Start there.
I have been mostly focusing on getting back on the, I guess you could call it like content grind. I usually hate when people say that. The grind. You know, I'm just grinding. But like, yeah, I came back from my trip and basically just had to like get back into the swing of things. You know, streaming, recording, playing. And that's basically what I've been doing this week. Been trying out a lot of stuff, trying to find what piques my interest. And that's proving a little bit more difficult than I expected because most of the decks are like very similar to what they were before the patch. And I just didn't want to play them anymore. I played them a lot. Like, I don't want to play Scion anymore. I don't even want to play Zoe Lee anymore. Like, I want to play something new. Yeah, and I love Zoe Lee, but I played Zoe Lee for seasons. Really want something new. Give me some new combo deck that's exciting for me to play. So, yeah, you know, just kind of, there are new things. But I think most of the time they're not very good. And I'm hoping that we kind of find something here soon.
Yeah, I've been in that same boat. I've been kind of talking, like things are very much the same. There is, you know, there's still some brewing going on, and there's some other stuff out there, but I feel like a lot, like you say, a lot of that stuff is only having success because other people are brewing and trying stuff out. Like for instance, I saw that people were going on a tear with Misfortune Poppy. It also was part of the lineup that won our Wednesday night Runeterra tournament that we'll talk about in a second. So I picked that up. I won the ladder. I crushed some people real quick. And then I just quickly saw some of the shortcomings of the deck. Like, you have no reach, you have no elusive. Like, I play against dragons, they just want like big guy, big guy, big guy. And I was just like,
oh, yeah. If you don't draw your champions, your deck just doesn't do anything.
That yeah, kind of even stuff. Like, yeah, I even have my champions eventually, but like on turn 6 or 7, like their stuff's so big, it just doesn't even really matter. And like they have a bunch of mana and you know, cards in hands. Like they can do all kinds of, there's all kinds of combat tricks and stuff. What else? I tried some Zoe Asol, but like with some Shadow Isles kind of version. Again, I got that from, I think that was from the OLS tournament. It was one of the top 4 finishers last
like an
weekend.
Invoke style deck?
Yeah, it was Invoke style with like Atrocity.
Yeah. I tried that with the Leona Asol. Leona still sucks, unfortunately. I will not stop trying to make it work.
Buff Leona.
They did. No, they didn't. They buffed cards around her. They just need
Cards around her.
keywords. If Leona or Raven had like a keyword, then all of a sudden we're in business. But they have no like real reach. And as we know from Yasuo decks, a deck full of stuns ain't enough.
Yeah, unfortunately. Let's see what else. I guess I started streaming again this week. I put up a tweet saying if I got 50 GIFs reactions to it, I would start streaming again. And, well, you got what you asked for, people. Here I am. It felt good, though. It was nice. I miss all my peeps. I miss the community. It was nice to have, force myself to play. And I quite enjoyed it. I had a good time. So I'm going to start doing that now. So kind of same as you, I guess, Monday to Thursday, just for 3 hours a day.
3 hours a day is a good spot. I started off because I started streaming almost a year ago, December, late December. I started off doing 6-hour streams.
Yeah, me too. I was 12 hours.
It was almost tough for me to hit the stop streaming button.
Really?
I was just I was just so excited to have people come in and talk and everything.
Yeah.
And, watch me play. That was so exciting to me. But the more because all I did back then was stream. But now with Runeterra, I have so many more things that I do. We have all this Mastering Runeterra stuff. I put out a YouTube video every single day. I have to prepare for tournaments, write articles, do this, do that, coaching, all this kind of stuff. I just can't stream that long, and live a normal life. So I cut it down to 4 hours, 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday. And then my streams have shortened to about 3 hours. And I think the sweet spot for me is going to end up being 3 hours, 3 times a week. I think that because I still really like streaming. But
3 hours, 3 times a week. That doesn't sound like very much to me.
It's not very much. And I could do more. Well, you also have to remember that I stream any tournaments I play.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
So it's usually more 4 times a week. Right. And right now it's 5 times a week, sometimes 6 times a week. Depending on if I play maybe a fight night and then a tournament on Saturday, right? Or something like that. Fight night and seasonals. Then it's then it's 6 times a week. And that's a little too much. And I really like streaming. But I also I like to bring the energy a bit when I stream.
Of course.
As we all do, right? No one wants to watch boring Bay streaming.
And then I'll cast this spell,
and then, I guess we'll play this. That's not fun for anybody, right? I want to be having fun so that everybody else is having fun. And after the 3 hour mark, I start to I start to lose my steam a bunch. And so what I want to do is outside of tournament streams, obviously, because I'm going to keep streaming those. But I want to keep it fun, exciting, and I want to keep the energy. And I want it to be kind of special. When I stream, I want it to be oh, I'm going to go catch
not because you had to
right
or you were required to, because you wanted to. And there's something cool going on.
I don't know. I don't love the idea of and when I picture myself as a streamer or whatever, as a content creator, I don't picture myself as one of the the 9 to 5 streamers where they'd stream for 8 hours a day, every day. And that's how they make a living. That's just that just doesn't appeal to me.
That's a tough grind.
That's a grind, right? Streaming's hard. And I don't think I could do that. And so what I would like to do is go a little bit in the other direction and keep my streams pretty short and relatively rare. I mean, 4 times a week really isn't that rare. But
what if you could get to that rare air like Alan, where you don't even have to pay attention to your chat. You just play the game. Tell everyone how stupid your opponent is.
I love talking to chat. That's why I do it.
Yeah. I mean, Alan does talk to chat. I shouldn't say that, but his chat's also just popping off. You couldn't possibly talk to everyone.
Can't keep up. But yeah, I would like to get in the spot where when I'm live, people go, "Oh, Bay's on." I want to catch him. He's not on very often. I think it's fun. And I want my main content. I want to be on YouTube.
Yeah, it's so much better for all the reasons we listed.
It's and I'm gonna let the listeners in on a secret. It's not a secret. Twitch pay. You don't make any money on Twitch.
It's very, 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 very difficult to make money on Twitch. Like basically nobody makes. So like Bay's like in the 0.1%, and he's making like no money. Whereas on YouTube, you could be like in the top. How do I do the reverse of that? In the top like 50%, and you could be making money.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Like I have 10,000 subscribers
30%,
on YouTube,
20%,
and I make
which is easy
like
to do.
over twice as much on YouTube as I do on Twitch,
which is wild.
I also don't do any. I know this is not where we planned this segment to go, but now we're here. I'm just going to go for it. I also, if you want to make money on Twitch, you have to have a lot of call to actions. You have to remind people about Twitch subs and Prime and stuff like that. You have reasons to people to sub and donate and like drop bits. And I hate asking. I hate it. It makes my skin crawl. I don't want to feel like a charity case. You know, you're here for free entertainment. I don't want to be sitting here like, hey, don't forget your Prime sub. Do you know what that is? It's a free sub. You can drop it right there. Just click the button. Like you
want to feel you don't want to feel like a charity case. I probably should tell you why you're on the podcast then.
Oh no, oh no. But yeah, so YouTube makes me feel so much better because I put out content on YouTube. Lots of people watch it, and then YouTube pays me, or Google, but for ads and stuff, and that feels so much better for me. And then YouTube feels like I'm building a portfolio. You know, like my content stays there. It's always there. You can always go watch it. It's like I'm building something. Where Twitch, the second I'm off the stream, I don't exist. There's clips, but like no one cares about those.
Yeah, and I mean that talks about a bunch of it folds back into the whole revenue. Like, oh, your stuff's always there for people to watch later down the road and stuff. But it's also so nice. Like, I did a lot of work on the website, and it's so nice to be like, I built this.
I did this thing. Yeah, look at all these videos I posted.
Look at this thing that I did.
Built. Like,
exactly. You can be like, I'm a YouTuber. Like, here's all my. You can go check out all my YouTube videos. People could be like, holy crap, you've been doing this for forever. Look all these videos you've done. Like, wow. Whereas, like, if you're like, I'm a streamer, people are like, what? And you're like, yeah, I did a thing previously that was there.
I go on camera.
Cool. You could trust me.
And then the second I don't go on camera, I don't ever make any money again.
Because your videos delete after like 2 months, don't they?
I have no idea.
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
But like, no one watches.
Also, nobody goes to watch those, and nobody wants to. And it's like,
and then
like it's different.
Now this is my main. Like this is my job. It is full time, right? So if I get sick, or I want to go on vacation,
you just go to the doctor because you have universal health care.
Oh my god!
Oh, you live in the States.
Oh wait, I don't. Yeah. And if I get sick or I want to go on vacation or just don't want to stream for a while, like if I was a Twitch streamer and that was like my main thing, I just wouldn't make any money.
Yeah.
Like none. But YouTube's not really like that. I can record extra videos and schedule them out. Right. Yeah. And
it's like if there was a button that you could hit that gave you money, and streaming is like you hitting the button yourself. And then YouTube is like you building a robot. There are multiple robots that hit the button for you.
Yeah, every day you just have to wind up the robot a little bit. Yeah. Or you can wind up the robot as much as you want. Just
add another robot. Or no, it's like I got a better one. There's a huge field full of money. Look, let me have my bad examples. Okay, this is my thing.
Yeah.
Huge field full of money that you yourself have to go pick up and put it into your like stack. Or you build a robot that day and you put the robot out and it just goes and collects you money from the field for forever. And you just each day you build a new robot and put it out there, one day after another. That's the difference between Twitch.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Okay. Look, man, you wanted to go down this rabbit hole. I'm here with you
right there. It is still active income, right? Like I'm not saying YouTube's like easier than Twitch because YouTube's still difficult, but it's different. Very hard. And I really like being able to work when I want to. And then, like, because some days you just have bad days. Like yesterday, I had a horrible headache. And then I got food poisoning.
Not a good combo.
I was just like, I'm not streaming today, right? Like, this is not happening. Oh my, it's actually a really funny story. I got food poisoning at lunch. And then I went to dinner at my mom's because my sister was coming back from college for the first time. So we're all going over and we're having dinner. And I'm like, Mom, this food's so good. And then I immediately go throw up. And I was like, I'm sorry, Mom. It's not you. It's the Mongolian barbecue I had for lunch, I promise.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So that was my day. But if YouTube, it doesn't matter. I already have a recorded video. I can do that whenever I want. But Twitch, I just wouldn't be able to stream. And I wasn't able to stream.
Yep. Okay, well established. Back to Runeterra things.
That was a whole thing. Wow.
It's fine. It's all good. It's our podcast. We can do what we want. Everyone loves us, right?
It's still kind of Runeterra themed.
Right? It is. Anyways, okay. Speaking of Wednesday night Runeterra, this is a new thing that we've launched, modeled after like Friday Night Magic, if anyone knows, which is just kind of like a casual gathering. It's like a stepping stone from casual to competitive
it's like
play.
From kitchen table to competitive. Friday Night Magic is in the middle.
Yeah, you normally go to like a store, you play with like a few people, like 4 rounds kind of thing, and like there'd be some small prizes. So we ported it over to Runeterra. We've done it the last couple of weeks now as like a little trial. It's been so much fun. It's kind of like it's gotten like the spark back into me wanting to play again. We all just jump into a group chat in Discord, and we're talking about like our matchups and different plays and stuff. It's a bunch of fun. Gives you that social aspect that's really missing from a lot of online games. So yeah, every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, if you want to come join us, starting this month, next month, November, we're going to have a little leaderboard going, and the people that do the best throughout the month are going to win some small prizes. I think some people have, some of the people in our community that do coaching have donated some coaching, and then we're also working on getting some merch going that if we do get it up in time, that those will be some prizes as well. And then basically we play like 4 rounds of competitive Runeterra. So like you bring 3 decks, the three deck ban format that you see at seasonals. So it's great testing as well to keep things like, how many times have you joined a tournament and just been like immediately been like, oh no, I screwed up. Like this one deck is terrible, or this card I shouldn't have played here, or like whatever. And if you just had like a redo, you'd be like, I'd be so much more prepared.
I've done that at a seasonals.
Oh, yeah.
I played round 1 and I was like, this was a mistake.
This was wrong. Yeah. Well, guess what? Now you can do that on Wednesdays, and you'll know like right away. You can hopefully avoid some of those mistakes. It just really does a good job of kind of like keeping the competitive like sort of vibe going and your juices flowing, because it's currently very hard to play best of 3. And then also the tournaments on the weekends are like super long, right? It's your whole day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas these are like, we're cranking these out in like 3.5 hours, like for 4 rounds kind of thing. They go pretty quickly. Yeah. So come join us. They're fantastic. They're a lot of fun. We'll be in there hanging out. We'll be streaming them most of the time if we are playing in them. So the two, and there's a lot of really good players too, which is the other thing. Let me read out some of these names here. We got like Fluffy Mudkip, Grandpa Roji, Cephalopod, Void, me, Mo, Bitter. The list of Jason Sensational. Like, so there's like so many. Sorry if I missed you, by the way. I was just going down the list real quick of some people. Don't be intimidated though. There's a bunch of people that are not on that level, and it's just everyone's here to learn, you know? So the 2 4-0s at the end were Cephalopod and Finny. And they decided to play off, actually, because they're degens like that. They just wanted to know who would win. And Finny ended up winning in the end. And Finny's lineup was Misfortune Poppy. That's where I saw it for the first time. Lulu Zed, which has been tearing up the... Actually, Zed Poppy has been tearing up the...
But it's the same
Lulu
deck.
Zed,
you just like literally just switch it.
Right, because you can't play Poppy because you're playing with Misfortune, of course. And then Plunder, which is Gangplank Sejuani, were their 3 decks that ended up taking it down. Against Cephalopod, that ran Draven, Scion, Poppy Lux, who she's very high on, and Just Vi Shellfolk deck.
He loves those Shellfolk decks.
Yeah, with 3 Glorious Evolution. I've seen one of my also play that.
I hate that version so much. Oh my god.
Yeah, so what's the deal? Why do you play Glorious Evolution?
So the Glorious Evolution version came after it's like an evolution, on the normal Ezreal win condition one. I'm sure you're familiar, but if you're not, basically with the Ezreal win condition, you would flip Ezreal, and then you have Shellfolk and leveled Ezreal in the field, and then you go off with things like Trinket Trade, the pranks, and other like 0 to 1 mana spells to basically just like burst your opponent down to like 0. And the deck was very good at that. But Ezreal's pretty fragile, and you couldn't really play him early. The Glorious Evolution version, what you do is you cast it, and then you basically go off with like Poro Cannon, Trinket Trade, and Otterpuss to make a huge board. Then you either kill your opponent with the Poro Cannons, or you trade off your entire board, your Otterpuss, your Conchologist, all that stuff, and you just like buff them up by casting all these free spells that turn into more spells, and then you attack, and then you just do it again. And
oh, I see.
Yeah, because it discounts all your 1 mana ones, right? So they're all free.
And they all get gigantic because they pump each other up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I see. Okay. Interesting. You think it's not good, though? Or it's not what you like?
It can be very good. Jay Sensational and I played it in the duo tournament and just got incredibly unlucky with it every game that we played it. Not every game, but like every time we needed removal in a matchup, we'd get to like turn 9 and we'd look at our deck tracker and we still had every piece of removal in the deck. You know, we didn't draw Mystic Shot, we didn't draw Pokestick, we didn't draw Thermo Beam, we didn't draw the other ones. We're just like,
womp womp.
Yeah, so we got a little unlucky, but I personally just like the Ezreal version more. Even if it's like I don't know if it's less good, but I just like it more. That's just how I like to play.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, another deck I wanted to pick your brain about is the Populux deck, which we've played with a little bit, but looking at this version, it's definitely a little bit different. For instance, I don't know if we were playing Lecturing Yordle in ours.
I believe we were.
Okay, this one has 3 Mini-Morph and 2 Concerted Strike.
Okay, yeah, I think we were on 2 Mini-Morph. I don't know if we were playing Concerted Strike. I think we should have been if we weren't.
Yeah, maybe we were on 1.
Yeah, but these cards make sense, for Lux. Especially, how many Trinket Trades are in the deck?
3.
3, yeah, because it's really easy to have like Concerted Strike plus Trinket Trade or Prank from Otterpuss, and that's enough to level your Lux. And plus the deck plays 2 or 3 Radiant Guardians?
3 Radiant Guardian in this version.
Mm-hmm. And Concerted Strike is very good with Radiant Guardian.
Yeah, fair enough. And then the last deck being Draven Scion. Oh, with the 1 Aftershock in the main, I guess.
Kind of putting that in there.
I guess as a hedge to tree decks.
Yeah, it's not horrible. It's burn, right?
Yeah.
I don't know putting Aftershock in decks, but Tree was making a bit of a resurgence, and it definitely seems to be more popular in tournaments than it does on ladder, so I can't fault anybody for putting an Aftershock in there.
Yeah, fair enough. And then what do you think of this other lineup of Misfortune Poppy, Lulu Zed, and Plunder? Kind of feels to me just like good aggro stuff. But I mean, like Misfortune Poppy is not something we've really seen for a hot minute.
It's like 2 rally decks and then Plunder, which is kind of weird. But yeah, I don't play a lot of Plunder, so I can't tell you exactly like what this matchup's like, what this list is trying to target. I do think that these like Scouts and Poppy rally decks like probably do quite well into the Lux deck. Probably a little less well into the Vi deck because Vi has like Mystic Shot, Thermo Beam, and pretty importantly Poro Cannon, which gives you quite a few blockers. I do think that it's probably like not favored for the Vi deck, but it's not that horrible. And like these are just balls to the wall. Some of the best like aggro decks in the format. Bunch of rallies looking to take people unaware.
Plunder kind of reminds me of like Fiora Shen.
Yeah, you just throw it in. It's your third deck.
It's just like, it's just kind of like, it's not, it tends to not be a huge dog to things. It kind of like has like some like, it's kind of just close-ish to 50-50 against a lot of things. Has some really good matchups. It's very powerful. Yeah. But it just seems like, you can kind of like just slot it in as a third deck into like a lot of different lineups. Okay.
No one starts their lineup with Plunder, right? No one's like, all right, Plunder, now what? What goes on Plunder?
I try to think of who could possibly do that. I'm like, would Henneke do that? Maybe. Some people love Plunder. Yeah. I think the deck's quite good. Yeah. And I actually really enjoy it. I don't know why I haven't played it more. I think when I was thinking about playing it, it was super popular, which kind of put me off of it. I like to play things that are like a little bit more under the radar, if at all possible.
Don't we all?
Okay, so yes, join us Wednesdays, We're going to be basically every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be in the Mastering Runeterra Discord, playing some games. You do have to sign up on Battlefy and register your decks, all that jazz. We'll be releasing a article soon detailing all the details.
Nice.
Okay. Moving on. I want to talk a little bit about the current ladder meta. Okay. So if you go over to our website, masteringruneterra.com, and you click on a meta tier list, you can see what's been played, what's been winning, what's been not winning. So I want to look at the last 3 days of stats. I guess Platinum, you can sort by Platinum Plus or Master. I think we just do Platinum Plus.
Yeah, there's not a lot of Masters right now.
Fair enough. Yeah, the season is very new. We'll sort by win rate. And up at the top, we got what I love to see, Zed Poppy with 55.6% win rate, 7.29% play rate. I've been seeing that go up and up. What are your thoughts on Zed Poppy? Why is this Poppy version doing so well compared to like Poppy Ziggs?
Well, they're different. Very different. Poppy Ziggs is a burn deck. And that used to be very, very good. But I think with things like, I think with the meta changes, burn is like slightly less good. You know, we're seeing Radiant Guardian enter in the format. Lurk, which is like the most popular deck, does pretty good against it. Even like Dragons can hold its own, which has like fallen off a cliff, by the way. No one really plays Dragons anymore. But we'll get to some of those decks later. And so I think like burn just wasn't quite where you want to be. But these Poppy Zed decks are like so strong into decks that don't play removal that actually threatens their units. Like if the decks that prey on these decks are running like Ravenous Flock, Mystic Shot, Thermo Beam, Subfumes, like those kind of removal, right? Even things like Twisted Fate, Bilgewater PNZ, basically. And then sometimes Shadow Isles. Sometimes. And those decks just aren't really there. You have just Scion. That's it. And so if you're not running into Scion, you have a pretty good matchup.
Yeah, and Sion's not playing a lot of those cards that you just mentioned either, right? Like they're not playing Thermo Beams. I guess they're playing. Some of them are playing.
They're
playing
like
some
the
of them
Mystic,
don't
get excited. Some of them are playing Flock. So I would still say that like this is a good matchup for Scion, especially because they have access to Poro Cannon, which is like really good against this deck. But other decks just don't, and they're just going to get ran over.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, next on the list, speaking of Draven Scion, we have Draven Scion with an exact same win rate actually as Zed Poppy, 55.6, and a slightly lower play rate of 6% of the meta currently. I thought they nerfed this deck. What happened?
It's still really good, turns out.
I
know. Shocker, right? It was the best deck in the format at Worlds. It's the best deck in the format now. It's really good.
Yeah, like the Draven and the what's the 8-drop called?
Lost Soul.
And the Lost Soul nerfs.
They slapped Draven on the wrist with one hand and just punched the Tri-Beam decks with the other. like Draven's like, okay. Like Draven Scion doesn't care. They're just going to play a more aggressive package. And I think you're probably going to see that reflected in deck lists. Is you're going to see more things like Decimate, more things like Noxian Fervor, more copies of Reborn Grenadier, right? The deck is going more aggressive because it has to. And then the Ezreal Tri-Beam decks, you just can't play them anymore. They're just so bad because they got their stuff nerfed as well, but they actually care about it.
Yeah, it's like Ezreal Draven. It makes me sad with Caitlyn Draven.
I love that deck.
I love those decks. Yeah, they played fair.
They're also the number one like Demacia rally counter.
Oh, yeah.
Like the number one. Yeah. So
yeah, because a lot of decks have
a hard time.
That's
why you're seeing like Poppy Misfortune, Poppy Zed, all these rally decks kind of coming up.
Makes sense. Even with the go-to rally now turning to being 4 mana. Doesn't matter,
Thank
apparently.
God, by the way. Rally should never cost 3 mana. That's dumb.
I agree. I'm also very happy with that. Okay, next up on our list, we got Twisted Fate Gangplank Pink City at 55.3%, basically the same as the two above it, with a 2.97% play rate, significantly lower now. I know that you're not as high on this deck. I really like it, though. This is one of the few decks that I can actually climb with or that I have been winning with lately. I enjoy it. Whether it's not, it's good.
Yeah,
I don't know, but I find it to be
out.
fun, and I have a good time with it, and it's definitely powerful enough. What are your thoughts on it?
I think once you bring it to the highest level of play, it drops off hard.
Yeah.
Because I think people play against the deck wrong. It's like you just have to treat it as a burn deck. And once you like know and really like understand the routes that need to be taken for you to like lose the game, and you avoid those, the deck loses a lot of its power. That's why I preferred Ziggs Poppy to this Twisted Fate Gangplank. Because Ziggs Poppy has like a lot of burn you just can't really deal with. Twisted Fate Gangplank doesn't, right? Like all their burn, besides like Pokestick and Make It Rain, you can like interact with. It's either onboard damage, which you can stop or at least slow by just blocking everything. And then the only thing that's going to kill you is like a double up or Gangplank. And you just need to play around double up as best as you can. And then if you're ready for Gangplank, you can often stop or slow him. Sometimes you're just going to get level Gangplanked on 5 and you're going to die and there's nothing you can do about it. But that's usually not the case.
And sometimes you're going to get doubled up. There's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing I love
true.
more than killing people with double up.
Yeah, that's true. But I think people will waste their single combat at some point in the game and then be like, damn, double up 4 turns later? There's nothing I could have done about this. And or like they use the Mystic Shot on one of their opponent's units when they need to save it to possibly shoot their own unit, stuff like that. Like these are the kind of things I'm talking about. That like
there are some like higher level or bigger brain plays that you need to be making that do take out some of the wind in the sails of the deck.
Yeah, I don't think the deck's like bad. I don't think it's horrible.
No, I
would never put this deck in tier 1.
Yeah, fair enough. I think the problem with it, and the reason I would agree with you there, it's because it doesn't do unfair things typically. It's to me, it's like strong. It's a strong deck, but like it doesn't do things that are like cheating on mana or like super powerful. There's nothing that's just like, whoa, once they draw that card, it's over. Once they get those 2 cards
that's how
together.
it felt with Stun Stackers on 2, I'm going to be honest, though. I was like, God damn it. Yeah,
Stun Stackers was the blade. Okay, next up, moving on, we've got Sivir Action. Man, this deck will not die.
Deck's a horse, dude. It's so good.
Will not die.
It's so good. It's just insane. It's just
beating it over that 54.8%, basically 55%, basically right there with the other top decks. 2.18% win play percentage. I, for the life of me, cannot play this deck particularly well. It just like does not. This is not the kind of
hard. It's like deceptively hard.
It is deceptively hard. It also just goes totally against any sort of play style that I'm used to whatsoever. And you have to be very adaptable, I find, with the deck.
Some of the lines are weird. Like, if I cast this on this turn, the next turn I can open Sharp Sight to do my thing and make the 5/2 and then attack. And like, it's kind of a hard deck. I had to force myself to learn it, like last season.
Deck's still good though. What does the meta want to look like for you to be picking up Sivir Action, and what does it want to not look like?
I want to see Demacia rally decks that are smaller than Sivir Action. So this is like the Poppy rally decks I think Sivir Action tends to do quite well against. And then you want decks with targeted removal that isn't very efficient. The deck I don't want to see with Sivir Action, I'm pretty sure Scion is like a tremendously bad matchup. I don't want to see that at all. But yeah, I really like Sivir Action. And the thing about that deck is like you can always just beat people. It's one of those decks, right?
Yeah.
Like even your bad matchups, you just like win.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Because sometimes you go
Sivir
level, oops, overwhelm, quick attack.
Yeah. Oh, gotcha. I rallied you. Yeah.
Yeah, rally, gotcha. And that's exactly what I was talking about from Pink City. Doesn't have that like, oops, I won. Not nearly as much. Even like turn 5 levels Gangplank isn't like a guarantee of anything. And that's really hard to do. Okay, so yeah, deck's still good. Unsurprising to everyone. Next up, Poppy. I was like Zoppy Pigs. We got Poppy's Eggs. As much as I was poo-pooing on it a second ago, still at 54.4% and a 4.42% play rate. Deck's still
Actually, I think
good.
that's really low.
Poppy's still good. That play rate's really low.
The
People are
win
trying
rate, I
out.
think that's pretty low.
Oh, really? I mean, it's basically tied for the top. Like, Zed Poppy was 55.6. Poppy Ziggs is 54.4. It's like
the burn aggro decks of format
lower.
tend to have an inflated win rate outside of like high masters.
Yeah, this is only the last 3 days. I bet you if we go back farther, like things are starting to coalesce a little bit now. People aren't playing around quite as much. Radiant Guardians, like you said, running around.
Radiant Guardians are popping up. Lee Sin is being seen on ladder. I want to talk about that a little bit. Really, we don't have to go over like every deck, but some things I do want to talk about is like Lee Sin is currently being pushed out of ladder, like of the last 3 days, because there's all these rally decks at the top. So it's tough to play Lee. But Lee Sin has some of the best matchups in the game right now. Like, it is the only
like
Scion counter. It has like a 90-10% win rate against Scion or something ridiculous.
Yeah, god dang,
it's insane.
Scion so hard.
So I think Lee, we're going to be seeing a lot as a tournament deck, unless as a ladder deck, which should come as a shock to like basically nobody.
Yeah, this is the problem with best one ladder. I'm not going to go off on a tangent about it because we've done it enough. We'll cover it again. But like, if you're a Scion player and you load up against Lee Sin Zoe, do you just concede? Like, is your time better spent, like, trying to win that 10%, or just going on to the next, like, 2 games?
You can concede, I guess. Like, ladder? Yeah.
It's close.
I'll play it. I'll always play it.
Oh, of course you always play it. But what I'm saying is, like, that's the problem with best of one. And why? Like, that's just showing it at a extreme level.
It's about as extreme as it gets, yeah.
But you do that all the time with like getting 70-30s and 30-70s and like.
I do think 90-10 is an exaggeration.
Let's go look at the stats.
Yeah, we can look at the matchup table stats, but I think it's a little hyperbolic.
Go to masterruneterra.com, click on the matchup table, and we will look at Lee Sin. Where are you? There you are. Over to. I'll just look for the big red dot. There it is. Draven Scion. So Draven Scion is currently beating Lee Sin 17% of the time. Take that.
That's actually still worse than I would put it at 20. It's hard to have anything worse than like 25%. You know what I mean?
It's
like,
the only one.
Yeah, it looks like you built Lee Sin to beat Scion, which is so funny because you definitely didn't. It just worked out that way. But yeah, so I expect Lee to be a pretty big tournament force. It's very good against Scion, very good against Plunder, but it struggles against these rally decks like really hard, and it struggles against Lurk, which brings us to Lurk. You want to talk about that one a bit?
Yes.
Stats. Those have some interesting stats. Lurk, over the last week, was probably the most played deck in ladder. Well, not probably. I know it was.
Yeah, so it's got a 49.8% win percentage, below 50%, and it's 11.8% of the field, which is insane.
It is the most played deck on ladder currently with a sub 50% win rate. The most played deck on ladder currently, and it has a sub 50% win rate.
Yeah.
People stop playing dragons, and like I stand by. Okay, Lurk has play to it. Lurk's not as brain dead as people think, right? We both played Lurk. We both watched.
Before you move on to dragons, let's dissect.
No,
Lurk
that's what I'm talking about. I'm currently talking about Lurk. It's like Lurk's not as brain dead as people think. We've watched Jay Sensational play Lurk. It's like I don't think people play Lurk very well, but I also don't think Lurk is that good of a deck in like a vacuum.
Yeah, I think a lot of its strength lies on Pike's champ spell.
Yes.
Like when my opponents have Pike's champ spell, I lose. When they don't, I win. It's like very close to that. It's not like 100% or anything, but like how often it's close to that is like way up there.
Yeah. And the deck's very good at finding it, right? You have all these predict stuff, and you have ways to put it from your hand on top of your deck. But Dragons disappeared because it's bad. It's bad, the format right now.
So hold on. Okay. This is what I'm talking about. Before we get to dragons.
I'm not talking about dragons!
Oh, okay. Sorry, you're saying that because of Lurk, dragons...
Because of Lurk, dragons has disappeared. But Lurk's basically like... Lurk has like 3 good matchups. And Lurk smashes dragons. And now dragons is gone. But everyone's still on Lurk because they haven't caught up yet. So Lurk has the biggest play rate, but its biggest like prey is gone. So it doesn't get to win those matchups anymore.
By like a lot, too. To put this into perspective, Lurk has about a 12% play rate over the last 3 days. Zed Poppy has 7%. Draven Scion has 6%. So it has double the play rate of like
there's
other
as many
decks.
Lurk players as there almost are Zed Poppy and Scion combined.
And so I want to break this down. Why do you think that is?
Because it smashed dragons, and people thought that was it. And I think it takes people on Masters Ladder, especially high Masters Ladder, adapt to the meta like very fast. But it takes a bit to trickle down to like Plat, and we are looking at like Plat Plus. And I think people are excited to play Lurk when it's good. A lot of people really like Lurk. So I think when we come back 3 days from now and we look at the past 3 days again, you're going to see a huge drop off of Lurk players.
Yeah. I also think that it was kind of like a shiny new toy. I think a lot of people hadn't played Lurk.
I can play dragons. I can play Lurk. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like we're talking about, a lot of these decks are just the same decks. Poppy, Scion,
Poppy,
Sivir
Scion,
Action,
Lurk,
Lee Sin.
The only thing new is the Lux Shellfolk deck. No, actually, I was going to say, and Thresherellian Soul, which I have been playing a bit, but that's a deck from like 3 seasons ago.
That's been around for forever. So maybe after the meta, after we're done talking about these decks, I want to talk about like
Is there any other decks we wanted to cover on this?
Yeah, so I did also want to talk about, speaking of dragons and your disdain for them, let me make sure I'm getting the right stats here.
Also, we just recorded a YouTube video about dragons. Go check it out. That's Runeterra's YouTube channel.
Well, I mean, so you know what? So it has a 47.4% win rate at 3% of the field. Here's the thing, though. Like, dragons got some significant buffs.
No, it's way better. It's like insanely better.
Why? So what? And it used to be good in past formats.
I don't agree.
Okay,
with that.
competitive at least. Like, it wasn't bad.
It only beat Thresh Nasus and when it rocked a bunch of Hush from Thresh Nasus, it also was slightly favored into Lee. And that was it. But like everyone played Thresh Nasus.
Yeah. Do you think it's been power crept now? Like these other decks that we're talking about that are the top, like Poppy, Scion, like those champions are like, god damn.
I mean, it's been a little power crept. Going late into games just also isn't super viable right now.
Yeah.
There's so many decks that just do like more powerful things than you by turn 4. I have actually died on turn 4 pretty often. Not like pretty often, but it's happened way more than any other period in Runeterra. I've done on turn 4. I've done on turn 5 a lot. And that did not used to be the case. And so a deck that sometimes you keep a 2-drop and then you draw Dragon's Clutch and you draw a Screeching Dragon and you draw Eclipse Dragon. Drop. That's not a bad hand, but it is not fast enough. And you're just going to get ran over by these decks that are fast enough.
Yep. That makes a lot of sense. Let's see. Any other interesting outliers here? So Lee Sin, we talked about that a little bit.
Like 52 with like a couple % play rate.
Yeah.
I guess.
Tree. There was a funny one. Where was it? Draven Victor. 53%. 53.7% with 1.5% play rate.
That is entirely Feint HD.
All Feint.
All Feint HD, yeah.
Made it to number 1, though. God bless him.
That's so funny. This happens every season. There's always like a Fizz Draven deck or something. It's always Feint.
Yep. Thoughts on Bandletree? I saw that somebody had taken the number 1 spot with Bandletree. I think someone in our Discord, actually. I should name drop. But what are your thoughts on
I've never loved Tree. It's not my... I don't like it's a combo deck with like an alternate win condition, so I should really enjoy it, but I just don't. I don't know. I don't like it. It's fine.
I really like Tree a lot, but I also like winning, and those things weren't
they weren't working out for you.
They were not.
You weren't able to have your cake and eat it too. I think it's a pretty big dog to the Poppy decks that go all in on being a Poppy deck. So like Poppy Rally decks, I think beat up Tree pretty handedly. And I don't know about you, I hate losing to Rally decks.
I dislike losing to Rally decks very, very, very much. Yes.
The only deck I play that like actually most of the decks I play lose to Rally decks, which is like why I hate it so much. But yeah, I'll have to give Tree another shot. I will be honest, I have not touched Tree since World's Prep.
Yeah,
been a long time. The deck may be a lot better, so like I have a bias from previously, so I need to come back at it and try it again.
I have wanted to try out Triple Tree ever since I forget who it was that brought it.
Like Real Key, I think.
I think it was Real Key brought it to like the World's Open part or whatever. Yeah. I've wanted to try it so badly, but I just did pull it at seasonals. Wednesday night Runeterra. This is where you get to try all the wacky stuff. Triple Tree, let me tell you, that's happening this month at some point. Probably next Wednesday.
Yeah, you got 6 days. 5 to 4.
That's math, I know I'm just plugging our own tournament here, but like it's
cool.
I love it. That's cool. I'm
cool.
I'm like excited now that I get to go play Triple Tree and try that out. Because otherwise my options were what? I'd be like, hey Bay, you want to just like load up some decks and play against me while I play Triple Tree? Like,
I'd be like, no.
Do I have to? Yeah. Is this in the contract somewhere?
Yeah.
Anytime Bay tries to get at something, I'm always like, should have read that fine print, bro. Let me tell you. So that's more or less the ladder meta. Anything else that we missed or that you think might be good?
I do really like Thresherellian Soul. It does very much struggle into Poppy Rally, which is currently seeing a lot of play. So that's rough. It was much better 3 days ago than I think it is now. I do like playing the Lux Shellfolk deck. I'm just not sure it's that good. But I will give that some more play as well. That's another deck that like struggles on ladder, but is going to do a lot better in tournament settings. The Shellfolk decks in general are like that. I'm interested to see where the format goes, but man, I cannot wait to get just a dose of some new cards. Just a little something. I'm hoping from the Arcane event.
Yeah, this next month is supposed to pop off. All we keep hearing is how busy people are with all the Arcane stuff going on and how big and exciting all this stuff coming down the pipe is. Starting like next month, like November, with all the Arcane stuff that's going to happen. For anyone who doesn't know, Arcane's the new anime that's coming out on Netflix that revolves around the League of Legends world. It looks fantastic. They just dropped a music video from Imagine Dragons. Go check that out. You can see all the art
JID.
Of it.
Don't forget that.
JID. So good. Song is amazing.
Yeah.
Music video is amazing.
Video's insane. The animated JID is fantastic. This what is it called? Enemy. I think it's called Enemy.
Enemy.
It might be my favorite Riot music video of all time.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of them, so
I've seen all of them. I've seen all of them so many times. My favorites
There's
before
definitely some.
Were like Curse of the Sad Mummy, and honestly, probably KDA, the first KDA one, Pop Stars. I really like that one. And then you get into some of the world songs, but yeah, Enemy's really good. I'm also a big JID fan.
Nice. So yeah, lots of exciting stuff coming, which I feel like we need because we've been in this world's lull for a little bit. It'll be nice to get excited about things again.
You sound like all joy's been robbed from our lives.
It has.
I haven't felt happiness in 4 months.
This is all I have. It's literally been like 4 days.
Yeah,
that's another thing. Hey, I'm always like, literally like seasonal's top 32 ends, and I'm like, God, when's something gonna happen?
It's like Sunday. It's been 1 day.
I don't know.
Like, oh wait, I get new cards in like 2 days.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. How I got so spoiled.
It was rough to start a season with no new cards. That was brutal.
It was. We haven't had that happen in a long, long time, or like ever.
I have no idea.
It might be the first time. But we did get the big buff changes, though. I want to talk about those for a second here, because now that it seemed pretty substantial, and it was.
Let me talk about it. Did we break it down last week?
Yeah. No, we broke it down.
You want to talk about what I want? Okay, yeah.
Now that we've had a chance to see it happen. I gotta say that I feel like they needed to do more, or at least different. I think not touching Scion was a mistake. you could make an argument for not touching Poppy. I think a 3/3 Poppy is probably fine.
That's not even like a big nerf, you know.
That's not even a big nerf. Lee even is not, again, Lee's always been where it's at. It's not super prevalent or whatever. I just don't want it to rise back up and be a tournament crusher or whatever. I'm just like, you know what? Let's new stuff. Let's get new champions that are good and interesting. Let's get some Braum decks that are kicking butt, or some Victor decks, or just like some stuff. And the way to do that, bring Fiora back at this point, for God's sake, like something. You have to make changes that actually change the meta. And that's not what we got, at least how I see it at this point. It is still very new.
That's how I felt when I saw the patch. That was like my big thing, was I read it and I was like, this doesn't seem like enough. I was like, I think what I said when I saw it on like stream or something, was this seems like a fantastic patch if we were already having constant balance patches. No, like if we were already on that schedule that they said, where it's like new cards balance patch, new cards balance patch. This is a fantastic balance patch. Mwah, you did everything right. But since we've been in such a drought of changes, this is not what we needed.
When
we needed a big change.
Well, when it's hard to think back to all this stuff, but like when did Nami come back? Come out? How long ago was that? Was that 2 months ago?
That was August.
Yep. And then we did get a bit of I guess it was a small emergency patch.
So it's only been like
August, September, October. It's a solid 2 months.
2.5 months.
Yeah.
Which for us, we're like, oh my God, it's been years.
Yeah. Well, I think though that because we're so used to playing best of one on a ladder, that's a big problem. Yeah. Because that gets stale and that gets boring. Sorry, I always say boring, but like I get bored. It gets stale or solved is probably the better word. Like very quickly, very fast, and then you're kind of left just being like, change it. Whereas like other play modes, if we had like a MTG draft type thing, or if we had best of three, like best of three there's been lots of times when best of three has been very healthy, and then best of one has been super stale and terrible. And people are screaming for bans and buffs when best of three has just been fantastic. And I think that's, at the end of the day, that's really what it just keeps coming back down to. Because even now, look at the decks that just won our tournament. None of them are on the ladder, really. Well, they are, but like, you know, they're like, there's no Lulu Zed. There's Poppy Lux isn't crushing. Shellfolk isn't crushing the ladder, but like these decks are doing well in tournaments. And that's how it's just kind of always been and always used to be. And so I really hope that in this whole time that they're taking off to redo organized play and everything, I really hope that, I don't know, that we find a way to play the game with best of three, to play other formats, to play tournaments more. I don't know what the solution is exactly, but it's not best of one ladder being like, that's kind of all there is really too. Hey, I never really realized that. There's best of one ladder.
That's it. In lab.
And then there's like a seasonals every other month.
Sucks. Like, no one plays Expedition. And Gauntlet's bonus.
Stop hating on Expedition. Lots of people play Expedition, but I don't. And there's not, other than the love of Expedition, there's not a lot of other incentive. You can also play best of three, challenge your friends, but other than for the love of doing that and the funsies, there's really not.
You can play Gauntlet sometimes and win an icon that you could have won like 9 months ago. Pretty
it's
brutal.
fine. So they are taking the time though to revamp it. I think that was the right decision to make. Because there's a lot, right? It's not just like, how do we do worlds better, or how do we reduce seasonals, or it's like everything, their whole offerings to the community. So I'm very excited for that. That's huge. I can't wait for that.
You know the red MAGA hat? The Make America Great Again hat?
Of course.
I'm going to get an MGGA hat. Make Gauntlet Great Again.
Okay, well, I'll have to join you.
I won't do that.
Gauntlet Great Again.
I won't do that.
What?
People, if you just wear a red hat in America right now.
Oh, we're not going to wear it out in the world.
Yeah.
This is for videos. Mine would be Bring draft to Runeterra. ... Cowards.
Bring draft to Runeterra. That's like BDTR. That doesn't sound as cool.
Oh, I have to find a good acronym now?
Yep, it's got to be. That's the whole thing.
Okay. So, yeah, as we're wrapping up, I just wanted to touch a little bit. I kind of got sidetracked there. I want to touch a little bit more on the patch, the buff source, because this is apparently what we're working with now. What do you think? Like, what would you have liked to see added on to this patch, or what do they need to be doing if we're only getting patches every 2 months? Which I'm not sure if that's like actually the case. I feel like it might be that those are the scheduled patches, and then they're still like keeping an eye if things need to be patched more often.
I believe we're going to see a balance patch every 2 months, but it's not going to be a balance patch the way it's been a balance patch. It's going to be changes for the sake of changes and any balance that's needed, which is what we want.
Yes,
we want things to get,
and that's what we were supposed to get, though, because that's not what we got.
No,
that was not a shakeup.
We're supposed to get,
but that was what we were supposed to have.
Probably, but imagine having one of those, but you also just got cards last month. Probably enough. So you have a big change. Boom, cards released. Big change. Everything changed, and then you play for a month. Okay, and then
it
changes.
It really
again,
depends
like
on the cards, though, right? Because like Shurima came out and it was like,
well, let's take the last patches we have and just put it on the schedule. Vandal City came out. Nami's insane. Poppy's in everything.
Bandle City
find
was
out that
nuts.
Scion's really good. And then a month later, we have this patch. This is the patch.
Yeah. Okay.
And then
here's
in
the thing,
month,
though.
You have new cards.
Yeah. So is that starting in December then? Because like we're not getting like a whole release in November if we get any cards at all. We don't know yet.
It should be starting in December.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll hold my judgment for then.
You have 1 month and like 2 days to hold your judgment. You can do it. I believe in you.
That's you've made mistakes before. That was your first mistake. Okay, wrapping up. Wednesday at Runeterra. Come check it out. Lots of fun in our Mastering Runeterra Discord, which you can get to from masteringruneterra.com. Let's see. The other thing I wanted to say is Arcane is they're gonna allow us to do watch parties, I'm pretty sure, on Twitch, which we should definitely be doing with all the Mastering Runeterra people, because that's pretty fantastic. I will be muting all of you while we watch it together. But come join us for that. I'll definitely be doing it. Betas look super impressed. That's, I believe, on November the 8th.
I don't like watching shows with a bunch of people.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna mute it so you can't hear. I'm just gonna watch the show and then afterwards talk about it.
Oh, that's different. That's a show discussion.
Yeah, well, but we're also
Like
going to watch it
club.
at the same time, so right at the end you can like,
you
okay,
go,
let's all discuss. Holy crap, that was oh my god, yeah,
Mm.
right? Yeah, not
It's
like hey,
watching
everyone
a movie in
go
a
watch
theater,
it.
but everyone's gagged.
Exactly. Okay, that's it for us. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys again next Friday. Actually, you'll see you Monday for the Runeterra show as well. Check that out. We do those live on Bay's stream. And make sure you keep a learning mindset, and you cannot lose. That's all for us. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for listening to the Mastering Runeterra podcast with Jay and Bay. New episodes come out every Friday. If you haven't done so already, be sure to join us on Discord, check out the Patreon team, and have a look at our deck database on Twitter @Master Runeterra. Links to all of these can be found in the show notes and description.